competitive aerobatic team for soaring. This is, takes 2 guys to do the wing. This is started the event on Saturday, and the field's just starting to fill up with planes. This is a 7-meter condor, scratch built. Some of you may have heard of Arnold Hoffman. He's passed away now, but he was famous for his designs of vintage gliders, models. And he actually helped the guy who owns this do the airfoil and design of the model. And it flies wonderfully, very, very nice. Some more pictures of it later. Typical scale sailplanes. Mostly modern type, but quite a few vintage. And you can see in Europe they have some different color schemes than we're used to. They're pretty big. This is an air show type model, a model of an air show glider. There are a couple of them like that. There's one for Coke too. Oh, and the friendly local sheep who would come out and cross the field twice a day. So we stopped flying, you know.
Yeah, but they live in grass, right?
Well, yes.
And then you presents fertilizer.
Sean, there's your B4.
Yeah.
This one was reinforced. You can just see, just behind the cockpit, you can see the raised ridge on the fuselage. Just
Oh, yeah.
where the glass ends, yeah. I had to ask him about it. I said, what's that? He goes, oh, over reinforcement. Steel. Vertical steel plate. So this is the Condor again up close. Magnificent building job. And I couldn't quite get the straight answer why you have a Scotsman in the this is the guy on definitely German. So most of the planes were 5 and 6 meters, but a few of them were up to 10 meters. And this is what you need if you want to haul your airplane around with, by yourself without carrying it. It's a little wing wheel. Nice open field. In the background, those mountains are where they run the Tour de France, the Mulhouse section. A few people waiting in line. Guy in the beret, there's a little story to that, but these are guys from Basque Region. They're from Toulouse. We had a really nice conversation with them one night, and we got to talking about wines. And when I worked in Europe, I happened to be schooled in wines, and my teacher took me to the Basque region to sample the wines, so I knew what Chacoli wine was. They were all impressed that somebody else knew about their special wine that they only have in their region. And one thing led to another, and talking about all kinds of stuff, and the next day, Michel and Francois, the 2 guys from Basque, donated their berets to Brian and I. They say Chacoli team on them because that's their flying team, and taught us how to properly wear them, so which was pretty cool.
Sorry, I didn't work tonight.
I forgot it. I actually was kind of crying. So I think it's starting to heat up now. Yeah. So time to go through the line from here to the end is about 20 minutes. It's cranking, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a 25-year-old tow plane. That's a Raleigh Marine 235. Got a 3W 157 in it, and the fuselage is in 2 pieces, so you can fit it in the car. It's a 3-meter wing. This is one of the most popular tow planes. It's a Swiss trainer, scale model of a Swiss trainer airplane. You can see the angle he's coming down at.
Is it electric?
No, they have an electric version. In fact, I have a picture later someplace of it.
Triple scale light fish.
Pardon?
Triple scale light fish.
Yeah, the fish It wasn't a scale plane.
Oh,
Normally they're only this big.
Yeah, the blue. No,
you mean
that one
Yeah.
on the left.
or this one right here, the red one.
Go back.
No.
Well, the red one right there in the front, it's the same one.
Is it?
Yeah, there's two aerobatic, two
That one.
guys flying them in formation, doing formation aerobatics with them. They tow them up, and then they do aerobatics on the way down. So that's a 10 meter, that's a Paratech, DG-1000 thing.
There's no competition involved here, right? That's just a
This is just a fun fly.
fun fly.
You can kind of make it out, but they have three sides of tow loops there. Because depending on how big your airplane is, you have to use certain strength tow loop for safety. They want them to break. in case-
Called the weak link.
Yeah, exactly. This is the only French modern glider made in France, the Cristal. It's a 5 meter one, and I think that was the first one I ever sold in the US back in like 91 or 92, or no, 94. Anyway, the guy was using it to teach his nephew to fly. That's a scale model of a light sport aircraft also. Got a 200cc engine in it. It'll tow a brick, no problems.
That's the new tow planes that are being imported, right? The orange one.
That's not new, it's actually very old.
But then
They keep updating the design. That's the newest one. That's
Yeah.
a 111-inch one.
That's
They
the
have
one.
up-
Brian ordered one, right? Brian said he has a 111.
He didn't order the 170, he ordered, I think.
111.
111, yeah. That's, there was one there that was a 170,
Yeah.
but mostly people like the 111s. And those are purpose-designed tow plane. There's another picture later one. They have a twin tail.
Right.
And it's called B-dual, which means thingamajig, or whatchamacallit, rather. That's the one of the organizer of that, Jack Bowler, the Swiss trainer. There's one of Sean's favorites.
K6, K8.
6.
This is one of the times the airplane sustained some damage. Actually, had a human. Here's a quick aside about human-induced systems failure. The airplane has a dual battery supply, and if one battery fails, the other one takes over. Well, we had one of the connectors on the battery, which is brand new from the factory, come apart.
Yeah.
Okay? And it shouldn't have made any difference. And the reason it came apart was Philippe went to put the landing gear down, and the current surge caused the connector to pop apart because it was a cold solder joint. The other battery didn't take over because I didn't switch it on. Actually, I did switch it on, but what I didn't realize was that if I held
Sequence.
the magnet, it has a magnetic switch. If I hold it there too long, it switches off again. So I now have two LEDs being installed in the instrument panel so I can make sure I see the LEDs that both are on before I take off. So it could have been disastrous, but he was making a short approach, he was low to the ground, so he didn't try to put the landing gear down until the last second. So he was like a meter high, and so the plane literally slid in sideways at our feet on the gully. Very, very, very fortunate. And I felt really stupid after that, because the power box, when you turn it on, even if you disconnect the battery, it saves its on state. So when you plug the battery back in, it'll turn itself on. So you know whether you had switched it off or on if you have a battery failure. It's like, made a fool out of me. That's Condor going up again. That's Jürgen, the guy that owns the Rosenthal factory. That's SK-18? No.
K6.
K6, sorry, yeah. Yeah. Nice plane. This is kind of the Rosenthal family picture. I don't have the full-size one, but the old guy with the hat on and the plaid shirt's Harry Rosenthal, and his wife. And he's getting up there. And then Philippe on the right. So not missing here is Eckhard. Rosenthal was the second owner, Philippe was the third owner, and Jürgen in sunglasses is in the left there is the current owner of the factory, Rosenthal. And that's his wife and kids. Oh, let's see. Oh, I can't remember this guy's name. That's a 10-meter parapet with an up-and-go drive.
ASH 25.
Is it a 25? Fournier, or a Ford self-starter, so he could start the engine, take off, turn it off in the air, it's thermal, turn it back on again if he wanted to climb. Another type of up and go. Yeah. So you get an idea of the size there, the 10 meters. That's a two-piece fuselage. A little bit easier to transport. So lunchtime. The thing I really like about the events over there like this is it's very family oriented. The wives come, the kids come, a lot of kids flying, getting instruction, even during the event, like during lulls in the event. And very few vendors selling things. They have separate events for that, which I'll get to in a bit. That's Philippe on the left and Jackie on the right, the organizers of the event. They have, the club owns these tents, and they have a storage thing, which is nice. Anytime they have an event, they can put them up. These are wild boars on the spit. The club president has a knack for doing really good roasted meats, and so I've now enjoyed it 2 years in a row. I want to go back for more.
Who owns the field?
Who owns the field? The French military. In France, you can't purpose a field for any agricultural field for anything other than agriculture. It's a law. So they have a very hard time with model fields. So one of the things they do is cooperate with small airports, private fields, and the military. This one's a tank training ground, and they kindly do all their tank training out there near the trees. And leave this part of it alone. Because it does have a paid portion. This is the Riesling Squadron. This is a kind of a separate group of guys that we swap wines, basically. Riesling is the most famous wine from the Alsace region. So from the left, there's guys from France, Germany, US, and UK. And then you notice there he has a handy cup holder in his transmitter scoop. At least that's what we call it. And more planes. And it was amazing. People came and left during the event. So we never had all 50 registered pilots at one time. Yeah, actually there were 65, I'm sorry, 50 pre-registered, and an additional 15 came in during the event. Well, this is typical, one of the teenagers in the club. And the kids seem to like the colored gliders. Oh, yeah, little instruction. Over here, not there. Over here, not there. No, don't fly there. Well, it's, there were a lot of airplanes, somebody's 10 planes out at once.
Did you see the T-shirt on the other guy? Los Planeurs Scale Soaring.
Yeah, Jürgen, yeah, he loves it, he wants to come. Actually, in 2017, we're trying to arrange a big visit of the guys from France and Germany. Where they're going to come over and we'll have an event at Los Banos and one in Visalia, and maybe another place. So. I don't know what those two guys are doing. Typical model trailer. Because most of the cars are smaller, very few people have vans they can dedicate to hauling the models, so the trailers are very popular. I thought that was just cool. That's a Volkswagen camper. Airplane storage, if you can get it. It's Pascal, or Jeff, rather. His wife makes model pilots. I forgot to bring it, I'll have to bring it another time. I just received a half-scale pilot from her. It's really nice. It's a lady pilot, and she has painted fingernails. She has a nice lace, what do you call it, camisole under her blouse, and like really, really detailed. Anyway, there's the big deal. 111. This I thought was cute. This is a scale model of an old French glider. I think it was, I can't read what it says on there, it won the world championship. Or is it?
Here,
Madrid, 1952.
Yeah, okay, so he lost his canopy, so he modified it a little bit, but it's really funny. Anybody know what that says?
Made in,
Lumiere?
Yeah.
Made in the crap.
Oh.
So, but it's a really nice model, flies well, and I can't remember what it is. It's French. There's your fish, or high fish.
Le fish.
Oh, that's Jackie and his nephew with the Cristal. And this is, if you've heard of the Hempel KA-8,
6.
6? Oh yeah, 6. It's a half scale, I think. Flies really nice. It's the Cristals from Europe. That's another 10 meter with an up and go drive. Really beautiful flying plane. Oh, this was him showing that you don't have to land. You can put your up and go up and take off again.
Yeah.
And then you can finally come into land and stay down. That's SW 15? 15 That goes Chris off his plane away. It's amazing the amount of people that they aero tow. They have 2 lines. They have a takeoff line and a landing line. And they just, you know, once you take off, once you tow, they have an observer, a safety observer that walks you over to the flying line. And when you land over there, you don't cross back without a safety guy to get you back across the tow line. So it's very well organized. So this is only a 4 meter, so just to show you, they have quite a range for fall. There's the shell again. And there's the Basque thing, Basque emblem. And actually, last year, the World Championships for F4C's power scale were the week after this. And the guy who ran it was at this event flying scale sailplanes. And I guess we, how do we know? We know one of the guys, Bogo or somebody, the French guy?
Jeff Bobo?
Jeff Bogo. He won the world champs this year
Yeah.
in scale. He was at that one right.
Make an adjustment.
Little adjustment to the glider, yeah. It didn't work. He couldn't get it. He had to cut it out. It wouldn't come out. We wanted to relocate it. There's the Coca-Cola glider. That one's electric. Electric launch or aerotel.
Is it a Swift?
It's a Swift, yeah.
Is it?
Is that a V-tail, Bruce?
Pardon?
No.
no,
Does it have a rudder?
Yeah.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
straight on
Yeah.
that. Sorry.
It's straight on.
Yeah, it had, what they do is the ones that, they call that FBS, front end system, the nose motor. They have they can pull the prop off and put a spinner, a blank spinner on the front, so it doesn't, looks normal. And they have the aero tow hook underneath. what guys do when it's 98 degrees out.
So what month was it when you were there?
That was July, right? That was the weekend of July 10th, 11th, 11, 12, 13, yeah. That's Jeff's wife, Veronique. She makes all those
Is
model pilots.
that like a 40% of that one in the middle, that really big one?
Oops. Left.
I mean, are those third, like in the back and then the front, are those quarter or third?
Actually, yeah, there's, I don't see where the half scale one is.
The one right in the middle looks like
Yeah.
the table.
But those go all the way from 6 scale up to half scale.
Oh, okay.
Right. Brian balancing the trailer. Can we get one more airplane in? And kids out flying. Oh, commandments of aero modeling. I just thought this was funny, you know. Make sure you say hello to everybody when you get there. Don't turn your transmitter around without checking the frequency. It's all kind of the same stuff, you know, we have. And that's just they have a picture layout of the field like everybody. This, I think this is now on Tuesday, when everybody else has gone home, but it's a holiday in France, so all the guys are still
Real
home.
short antennas, are they running 900 megahertz still, or are they on 2.4?
2.4.
They're on 2.4
I
also?
mean, there's a few guys still on 72.
No, but I think their big deal was 900 megahertz at one time.
No. 35, 40, and 72.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you pretty good line even on Monday or Tuesday, I can't remember which. But one of the things that's nice about this area is you see a line of clouds coming off the mountains. Awesome thermals. People routinely do 3,000-foot climbs there.
There's no issues with air traffic?
When they have an event like this, they get a special aircraft zone, so they have a 3,000-foot ceiling. Well, actually, it's, yeah, 1,000 meters, yeah. They have 1,000-meter ceiling, yeah.
Try and get that from the FAA.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's no problem. Well, I think it helps that it's a military field, even though it's not a military airfield. It's a military space, and it normally has some kind of restriction about flyovers. So we never saw, all in the 2 years I've been there, we've never seen an airplane fly over, seen one in the distance, but. I just thought this was funny, this guy had these things written on his switches and stickers. It's like, if you gotta take time to read all those.
You got a problem.
L13, I think.
Yeah.
This is, oh, that's Philippe's up and go, 10-meter.
Is there solar panels in there? What's he charging?
Huh, what's that?
Look like solar panels on the cover.
Oh, can't get this thing back up. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's scale. Oops, need to get back there. Wrong way. The full-scale airplane has those on there. It's just for charging the radio batteries
Okay.
for the, GPS and everything.
That's a single blade prop, right?
That's a single blade, yeah.
Is anybody using small jets?
Yes,
Is that the problem?
I have some pictures there later, so this is kind of like the typical landing approach, high alpha, flaps way down, and they land right at the end of the runway so that they don't have to turn around and go back and realign themselves.
They're driving the tape.
And, well, almost, sometimes, but they have wheel brakes too. You can see a little wheel brake.
How many tilt planes will be flying at once?
Usually 2
Two?
and 1 on deck, ready to go. So that when somebody needs to land for fuel, the other guy just starts up and gets right out there.
What's the procedure? They can fly over, drop the cable, and then land, or do they
No.
land with the cable?
No, they land with the cable or they have a retractable one.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like full scale.
Right.
How many airplanes are in there?
Miss Chan behind there somewhere?
No, well, almost. Now we're just on the road here, just, our favorite sign in Germany. That means good driving.
Sure. Good going.
Good going, yeah.
Good trail.
Lots of countryside. Our favorite town in Germany turns out to be Umleitung, which means detour. Summertime, a lot of road works. We went through the Black Forest a couple times, back and forth. And this is the kind of roads we're on most of the time. We're on the highway sometimes, gypsy caravans.
Did you get to the Vasa group at all?
No fences.
No time to go up there. Maybe next year. Chasing the Rosenthal van. Every Chinese restaurant we stopped, we passed by, I had to stop for Brian to take a picture of his Chinese. And, but he refused to try one. I tried to get him several times. I said, let's just try one and see what it's like. No! You know,
Sweet and sour wiener schnitzel.
well, what we did find interesting is the style of the churches over there is very similar almost every place. You know, it's just, with the tall tower, square tower.
This is southern Germany, right?
Yes.
So Catholic, probably.
Probably, yeah. Oh, now this is the molding factory for Rosenthal, so we took a bunch of pictures. I'm doing an article for one of the online mags about the factory. But it was kind of fun to go and see how, this is a professional molding place. They do other things, but they do all the Rosenthal stuff under contract. And it was interesting to see their setup. It's pretty basic, but they get the job done. Finished parts, molds. And we were checking out a mold problem. That's the lady that owns the factory.
Seats,
Huh?
looks like seats.
Seats, yeah. And more cockpit inserts. And that little one on the top is going to be the 40th or 50th anniversary B4 model, small one. Remember the small ones, Sean? The small B4s? They're reissuing them all fitted out, ready to fly.
Oh.
As anniversary model. Look at all those molds. Too many airplanes.
Jeez.
In fact, they're expanding into a new room. I was just showing the layups, instructions on the mold. I took that picture because there's a defect in the mold, and I had the hardest time seeing it, but it's there.
So are these fiberglass? I just, it said
Yeah.
styrene on them.
Well, because some of them are done with Herex, you know, the sandwich mold, where they use a foam in the middle, a foam filler as part of the sandwich.
Like a Roselle.
Yeah, like Roselle, yeah. I think they call it Herex, is the brand, you know. So you have to be looking for I got challenged to find the fault in the molding, but it was pointed out to me it was obvious. And that's one of the wing layout areas. They do the hollow molded wings there too, but most of the wings from the factory are styrofoam with a leach and carbon bag. See what I mean about the church peoples? This was a constant issue. Trucks on these 2-lane roads, you see how much is left for us? Yeah.
God no.
Try doing that at 70 miles an hour. This is the Dornier Museum, a couple pictures from there. That's a vertical takeoff jet. They made the PO-31, I think. 28. That's the famous wall. Pretty cool airplane. They definitely have the corner on weird airplanes at Dornier. A lot of experimental stuff. And they, remember they made the DLX
DLX there.
in 1929. That's my buddy Arnie, some of you guys might remember him, he used to belong to the club when he lived here. And that's a DO-27 observation plane. It's a 1959 model. This is I can't remember the name of the air base, it's closed now, but this is one of those cold war air bases, that's why you see the little hut-shaped thing. That's a hardened bunker for a jet, for quick strike response. Now it belongs to the Flying Club. And that guy's a Lufthansa pilot.
Is that the guy that flew you around all over the place?
Yeah. Yep. We were supposed to go up in the Alps, but the weather was bad, so we elected to tour downtown Munich. We flew for over an hour, didn't see another small plane. It was crazy. It was kind of spooky. But only small planes we saw were at the airport here, and we saw big airplanes going into Munich International. But it's an observation plane, but that's a big airplane. Fit my fat body in there. And Arnie and Brian are in the back, that's downtown Munich. So, yeah, 1,000 feet over Munich, nobody said a word. Okay, now we're at the Segelflug
Slides
Fest.
and the fuselage.
This is in a place called South Region, which is about an hour west of Munich. This is an annual fair for basically anything to do with gliders, heavily oriented towards aero towing and scaling.